Hey everybody, welcome to the 17.5 Milestone Kickoff. I am Amanda Rueda. This is the product planning plan here in the plan stage. I am typically joined by Nick Brandt, who is our UX counterpart, but he is unavailable at the moment. So I am going to move forward and do my best to cover designs where needed. All right, so let's dive in. So the plan for this upcoming milestone is available here. I'm looking at the board by type, and so I'll go through features, bugs. I'm not going to cover maintenance and so forth. So let's get started. The first one is allowing users to assign themselves or a teammate to an epic from an epic board. So on the epic board view, we do not yet have assignees available from a backend perspective to display as an icon on the card, or to actually allow for assigning from the sidebar or for filtering. And so this backend work is ideally providing the work items assignees field for epics from the new work item epic data. So that's this. In subsequent milestones, we will then add the icon to the card. We will add the ability to change from the sidebar. And then finally, we will, or not finally, then we'll add to filtering options and scope. And then finally, we'll add assignees as a list option. The next item here is back-end change to allow the ability to use the type quick action and future UI option to change type for epic work items. So being able to change a work item to an epic or an epic to another work item. Currently, change type is only available to issues and objectives and key results and tasks. This next one is adding the blocked and blocking relationship indicator to listing pages. And Anastasia's already assigned to that. Thank you for picking that up. I do want to just quickly show you that we have new visualizations here. So the blocked icon now looks like this one here, which is actually, I think, the prior icon. And then the new icon is the blocking. So you have this different color, and then you have kind of a forward arrow that indicates that this particular issue is blocking something, or it has one blocking issue related to it. Okay, moving on. We have a front end item here to create a new work item from an existing work item. So this is essentially just mimicking the behavior we have in issues today, where you have a new related issue. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and navigate to the design associated with this, and you'll see what happens when you create the new related item. There will be a flow that would allow you to choose whether you want to create or which work item type you want to create. So that's a pretty cool update. Currently, when I'll open this one, when an epic reaches its max depth of total of 7 levels, the backend prevents users from creating an 8th level, and it throws an error. This work will prevent users from being able to even go through the flow, the creation flow, when that is reached. Okay, now we have a series of design issues here. So let's see, I think these next 3, 4, 5 issues here are all related to design management on work items. We are, for the most part, in this milestone, just trying to achieve parity. There's some slight changes to the to-do button related to design. So if you're interested in that, please read more on that issue. Now we have a quick action here that we're looking to create for blocking and blocks by. So that's a pretty straightforward for our work items. Then these next series of issues, 1, 2, 3, 4 issues, are all related to the contextual view, the drawer that Nick reviewed in our last video for 17.4. He showed the design. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and look at the 17.4 kickoff call that Nick and I recorded. He goes through the drawer and what the thing is, and then these particular issues just align the existing drawer that has been created and put behind a feature flag to those designs. And I should mention that we have, I think, some more UX updates coming for the drawer in 17.6. If anybody can hear my dog snoring in the background, I apologize. This last one here is actually a new one. So if you've already walked the board since this recording, you may not have seen this one. So let me open it up and show you what it is. This is a front end issue that is asking, and I suppose we might need some back end. So do let me know when you take a look at this, but is asking to achieve parity in terms of the metadata that we're displaying between the child items widget and the linked items widget. And the two gaps that we have is displaying health status and weight. So currently we display both weight and health status on the child items, but not the linked. And so this work is to add those. Do let me know if this requires backend, please. All right, let's go through bugs. So bugs that we have in 17.5 are to use the full namespace path when opening work items in modals. So you can see the examples here. I think we're currently showing an abbreviated path. So let's expand that. Duplicate display of Epic in roadmap view. I believe this was reported by one of our large financial customers, and Flory had worked with support and the customer on this and was able to replicate it. She provided some information about what is happening here. So please do take a look at that if you pick this one up. Toggling notifications is different currently between the legacy Epic experience and the work items Epic experience. So we want to rectify that. And you'll see that there's been a lot of conversation with UX paper cuts about this because they were the ones making the decision on which direction we're going to move. And you'll see that Amelia has said that we can go ahead and move forward with the icon for notifications. While it's not the final state, it is closer to the direction that they think they're heading for notifications. So let's go ahead and update work items to use the icon as we have in the legacy epics. I don't know if this is so much a bug, but a feature gap, but I'll leave it as a bug for now. Lastly, we have subgroup members. This one's weird. Subgroup members cannot insert images into root group epics. So you'll see some information here about what's happening when they try to do that. So please take a look. Moving over, I'm not going to cover maintenance. These are the things that are assigned to the milestone, but they may or may not remain in the milestone. That will be for the engineering team and Kushal to take a look at and determine. This is new, this milestone. You may have noticed on the planning issue that I also included UX paper cuts in the planning issue. Chad is our lead from the UX paper cuts team for the plan stage. So he really focuses on the paper cuts that he's looking for so that it's related to the plan stage. And what I'm going to try and do moving forward is to identify some low-hanging fruit or things that are applicable or the right size and type for a paper cuts type of work and pre-assign to milestones so that we can make sure that the most impactful kind of usability issues are being looked at and serve up kind of a backlog for him. You'll notice that I am assigning both features and bugs to Chad where it makes sense. And I also want to point out that these are not firm commitments. This is if Chad can get to it. This is like a nice to have. So let's go through these. So when you're going through the child hierarchy widget, you are able to actually reference a child that already appears in the list or that are already related. So this is meant to prevent showing those as options. Epic links is very similar. So the last one was the child hierarchy widget. This one is the linked item widget. So this is, again, is showing things that are already included. Actually, I think this one is not ones that are included, but referencing itself. So in the detail page that you're in, it's including it in your menu of things you can link. So you can link it to itself. So that's resolving that. And then there's a SAML authentication problem when you're not authenticated. When you navigate to the board, it just shows this blank. So Chad will be looking at displaying a message or something to make the user experience a little bit better, to allow the user to know that the problem is that they have to re-authenticate. All right, things that Nick is working on this milestone. The one is Epic milestone, so adding the actual milestone widget to the Epic, and with that, understanding all the places that we will then need to display Epic milestone in listing pages and in widgets and roadmap and so forth. And then the date inheritance is bringing the Epic inherited date, is updating that to include more than just the child dates and child or descendant issue milestone. So currently it only looks at descendant issue milestone. So if an issue has an iteration, for example, or a due date, or tasks have that information, that is not taken into consideration at the Epic level. And so we'll be updating that to make that more comprehensive. And the design task here is just to think about all the places where we need to be thinking about the impact of these changes. And then lastly, I've also included what I'm working on. I actually have a validation issue that isn't in here, and I'll figure out why. I probably forgot to put the product work label on it, but I have two feedback issues. One is the new experience, and the other one is the contextual drawer view. And then I'm also working on a problem validation for portfolio level workflows, where a program manager, for example, is needing to see status of multiple projects that they might have in flight, and how can they do that in GitLab. And the goal is to figure out a low effort GLQL solution for that. So I'll be interviewing GitLab team members, because as I've learned, we have over 50 program managers here at GitLab. So I'll be doing that. And I want to highlight that the work that UX design is working on, and then any validation work that I might be working on, will be coming to you, but we're typically at least 2 milestones behind you. So for example, Epic milestone, that work you'll start to see scheduled probably 17.7 for development. And since I have you, I just want to point out that on the release planning issue, I've used a new format where I've just kind of made a list by type here as well. And I'm using GLQL to populate that list. So I've been playing with that and just trying to see where I can use it more. But any feedback on what's helpful to you, what's not helpful to you, would be really appreciated. All right, so hopefully that gives you more context into what we're working on in 17.5. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the meeting.